buenos días, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están ustedes? Aquí otra vez, acabamos esta última etapa y vamos a empezar otra nueva con Elizabeth Weiss, presidenta del Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos, en nuestras actualizaciones semana a semana durante 10 semanas sobre el COVID-19. Una vez más con nosotros tenemos una sorpresa que ella les va a presentar. Hello all of you, this is Cristina Luna, Café with Cristina, and with our weekly updates with Elizabeth Weiss, president of Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos. We have a surprise for you today, but please just bear in mind that all these videos that we have here are in our YouTube channel, in the hospital's channel, in Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau channel, and these are for you. These don't get old because we are still with the COVID, but we're going to end this cycle to move into new things where we can keep connecting with you. Hola, Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you today?
Hola, I'm very good. Happy to be here, as usual.
Yeah, I'm glad. And I see that you're wearing your spring, almost summer color.
I wore my purple for everybody today. I usually wear black, so this is a breakthrough for me.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that for us. And like, you look wonderful. Is purple your favorite color?
No, it's black.
Black is your favorite. Oh.
It makes me look thinner.
Well, you look great, and you look thin, you look great, you look, fit, you look everything. But today we're going to talk about fitness, nutrition, and we brought a special doctor with us, specialist. Can you introduce him, please? Hoy vamos a hablar de fitness, de cómo mantenerse en forma, de cómo mantenerse, equilibrar la nutrición en nuestra dieta, ahora que muchos estamos con sobrepeso, y nos ha traído un invitado especial. Who is our special guest today, President Weiss?
So I'm happy to introduce Dr. Tangoren, who is an anesthesiologist at Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos. I think, how long have you been here now?
Oh, on and off since 2003, so 17 years.
Wow. You look the same.
Yeah. Thank you. That's very kind.
But in addition to being a wonderful anesthesiologist, he also runs our Healthy Lifestyle Challenge, which he's going to talk a little bit more about in the show.
Okay, that's so great. So aquí tenemos nuestra sorpresa, el doctor Tangoren, que se hace llamar Dr. T, right? Dr. T es anestesista, anestesiólogo y también es el líder del que lleva un programa de fitness aquí para ayudar a la comunidad que se llama Healthy Lifestyle Challenge, que está apoyado por Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos, supported by Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos, right?
Yes.
Yes. Y por eso lo tenemos hoy aquí y tengo una sorpresa para ustedes. Algunos lo vieron mano a mano, pero los que no, el doctor T habla español. You speak Spanish.
Un poquito.
Un poquito, okay. So we're going to do this in English and Spanish, and then you can do the Spanish, and if you need help, we'll help you, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay, but let's start with Elizabeth. First, let's summarize Lehigh Valley Health Network's leadership role and impact in helping to flatten the curve over these many months. And also, what are the main lessons, primary lessons that you have learned?
So very early on, we took a leadership role by providing education, one of them being on your show, so that we could get the word out about things that people could do to flatten the curve so that we would not be overrun in the hospital. And it worked, right? Things like don't touch your face, wash your hands, socially distance. And, I thank our community every week for all that they did to really bring the curve down significantly.
Dicen que el hospital estaba preparado para tomar acciones para deshacer la curva, ¿no? Aplanar la curva. Dice que tomaron acción antes de tiempo y como estar en este show y otras acciones como lavarse las manos, mantener la distancia, insistir a la comunidad de todas estas cosas que eran necesarias y han funcionado. If it was one thing you had to choose, what would you say that really, really made a difference with Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos and what you did?
So I think it was the support of the community, the food, the personal protective equipment, the masks that people made. I think it was really coming together as a team in the hospital, sharing information, learning as we went. We had daily huddles several times a day where we were sharing information and learning from each other. And we really came together as a team, not only in the hospital, but the community supporting us.
Yeah. Le estaba preguntando a la presidenta Elizabeth Weiss de que si hay una sola cosa que ella eligiese que ha marcado la diferencia, ¿cuál sería? Y ha dicho el apoyo de la comunidad. El apoyo de la comunidad, pues apoyándoles con comida, también, yo sé, with postcards and messages too, con tarjetas, con mensajes, haciendo máscaras para la gente, y también su equipo, que su equipo ha permanecido muy unido, han estado actualizando información y compartiendo información constantemente durante el día, y que eso ha marcado la diferencia. Dr. T, is there anything you have to say about that? Do you want to add to that?
I have to say, I really agree with Elizabeth. Lehigh Valley did an amazing job in responding, with providing us with personal protective equipment. We were very cautious in, the way we interacted with the community. We made sure that everyone was safe before they came to the hospital. I think that was really important because unlike New York City, where the system was just getting really overwhelmed too quickly, we were prepared. And as people were coming into the hospital, we knew how to handle everybody and handle, taking care of patients. We did really well. I mean, it was unbelievable. I have to say, very honestly, I'm very proud of the hospital. I'm really proud because I have a lot of friends in anesthesia who, were seeing what we were doing, and they were very, very impressed. And I said, because we're a very small group of people. And if one of us gets sick, it'll mean others will get sick very easily too. We have to work in a very closed space, especially in the operating room. So we were all very cautious. Everyone worked really well together. And I'm so, so proud of how the hospital, supported us and made sure that we were safe.
Yeah. Do you want to say that in Spanish? Just in 2 sentences. Let's try your Spanish.
Sí, gracias. Es importante decir, la Hospital Lehigh Valley Poconos dan cosas para seguridad de los doctores y los pacientes que cuando vienen a la emergencia o a la hospital para una operación van a estar seguros que no van a obtener COVID. ¿Cómo se dice?
COVID. Que no se van a infectar. They won't get infected.
Sí, infectar de COVID.
Okay, yeah. Una de las cosas más importantes que ha dicho el Dr. T, que me hizo que está muy orgulloso, he's very proud of Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos, por cómo han lidiado y las medidas que han tomado, porque dice, somos un equipo pequeño de gente y teníamos que tener mucho cuidado para no infectarnos porque no había suficiente personal, y que ha marcado la diferencia con otros compañeros de otros hospitales como en Nueva York. Okay. Now, Elizabeth, as we go hopefully to green soon, maybe this month, how do we balance our emotional needs as human beings to interact with others in person after all this time that we haven't been in social contact, close social contact, and the general tendency of neighbors, in warm moments of getting together, of making mistakes like touching each other, touching the same spoon, things. How would you balance that with the recommendations of the public health needs?
So I've said this before on the show, there's a lot we don't know about this virus. And we know that one of the things we do know is that you could have it and not know you have it. And you could give it to somebody else. And so that's why we want you to be respectful by wearing a mask when you're out with other people. And so we continue until we get to a point that this is not in the community anymore. Or remember, we get to that herd immunity. We must continue to follow what our experts are telling us.
Me dice que es muy importante que tomemos las recomendaciones de los expertos, porque como llevar una mascarilla, lavarse las manos siempre, y una mascarilla para protegerse y para proteger a los demás, porque hasta que no tengamos esto como una inmunización colectiva, pues, o que esto este virus se erradique de la zona, estamos en peligro constante porque podemos ser asintomáticos. We can be asymptomatic, right? Y ese es el peligro, de que usted no tenga síntomas, que esté infectado y que pueda infectar a otros. That you don't have symptoms, that you get infected and you can infect others, right?
Yes, correct.
Vale.
Especialmente algunos jóvenes pueden infectar a otros.
Yeah, especially young people, right? That they can infect others because
yes.
they're less aware of that this is something that it can happen to them too. Correct?
Yes.
Sí, sobre todo con gente joven. Ahora, let's go to the weight, el peso, el peso en español. Elizabeth, another word for you, peso. Sobrepeso.
Peso.
And sobrepeso is overweight.
Sobrepeso.
Sobrepeso. Ay. How do weight and related factors like blood pressure, diabetes, which can often be controlled through a healthy lifestyle, impacts one's ability to fight COVID-19?
So Dr. T can join in too. When you have extra weight, it puts additional strain on your body. And particularly your heart, your lungs, your arteries that can clog up if you have a lot of fatty tissue in them. And so those can lead to, and we know that we've seen the studies that people that are overweight or diabetics are more at risk if they develop COVID, of having really bad symptoms, being in the hospital or being in the intensive care unit.
Do we know why diabetes people that are not overweight have the same problem? Or
well, it really depends. Diabetes can impact your immune system, right? Your ability to fight infection. We know that patients who are diabetic and have an infection, their sugar goes up and it's less controlled. So they're also at risk.
Okay, that's very important. I didn't know that. Thank you. Le estoy preguntando a la presidenta Elizabeth Wise que cómo el peso y factores que están relacionados con el peso, como diabetes, alta presión arterial, cómo pueden ser, cómo impactan la vida de uno y su habilidad para luchar contra el COVID-19. Y nos está diciendo, y ahora preguntaremos la opinión del doctor T también, de que la gente que tiene sobrepeso tiene grasa, la grasa compromete al organismo para reaccionar en sus defensas contra una infección o un virus. Y también con los diabéticos, le estaba preguntando qué pasa con la gente diabética, si está delgada, porque tiene el mismo problema. Y dice porque su sistema inmune está muchas veces comprometido y cuando hay una infección, pues sus niveles de azúcar suben. Correct, Dr. Musa?
Sí, puedo explicarlo simplemente. I'll do it in English first and then in Spanish. I explain this to the group all the time because diabetes, of course, is on the rise, unfortunately. The fastest population that it was growing in is in young people. And I always tell, parents this, you're teaching your kids to eat a certain way. And in the 80s, we had no adult onset type 2 diabetes in teenagers. And now we have, over 100,000 cases and growing. And a lot of it is how we teach our children to eat. So basically, I explain it like this. Your body should be able to handle all of the calories that you ingest, especially sugar. Sugar is a very basic, simple source of energy. When you ingest the sugar and your body is not able to draw it into the cells, the sugar then circulates in your bloodstream. Those excess sugar molecules, they're very sticky. I've done actually bench research myself, so I know sugars and proteins are very sticky. The sugar starts to stick to things. It sticks to the wall of your arteries. It sticks to blood cells, red blood cells, that's your hemoglobin A1C. It sticks to white cells. And so when the sugar is on top of the molecule, think about it. This is a normal cell, and this is a cell covered with sugar. You can see the cell is not going to be able to function because it's covered with stuff. So basically, I explain it like that. Your goal is to try to prevent the sugar from coating all these things in your body. It restricts blood flow. And Elizabeth touched on it very simply. Your body is circulating blood. It's clear. You're constantly having exposure to bacteria and viruses, okay? When that blood flow is diminished, then the cells are not functioning well because they're covered in sugar. Those viruses and bacteria can then take residence in your lungs, in your kidneys, things like that. And this is what we're seeing in COVID, especially the COVID likes red blood cells. So simply put, there's too much sugar in your bloodstream and you're not getting rid of it. And the easiest way, of course, is with activity. The people who are more muscular, of course, who burn the sugar faster are not going to, are going to be prone to diabetes less. So most of it, unfortunately, is diet related. And most people don't realize that. So just real quick, I just want to touch on how passionate I am about this. Sorry if it's okay with both of y'all. So, there was a study that came out a few years ago that looked at why it was that the African-American community in America is prone to more diabetes and high blood pressure. And they found out that it is not something genetic, that is actually diet related. And the same is true of the Latin American community. People in Puerto Rico and other countries, they cook food a certain way, but they also have to walk a lot. You know, in America, we just get in our car, drive to the store, and drive back. They're doing a lot more walking, a lot more activity in these Caribbean countries than in Sudamerica. So we can't cook the same way that our parents did. We have to modify our portion sizes and how we prepare our food. So it's really, really important to be able to fight this COVID, that we eat a healthy, nutritious diet and do what we can to minimize, the impact diabetes has on our ability to fight this infection.
Okay, now you have to tell all of this in Spanish, in 2 sentences.
Oh, sí, okay.
You can do it, Dr. T.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, you can do
I
it.
do. Okay, voy a tratarlo. Es importante realizar simplemente que no come mucho de azúcar. Porque cuando comes más calorías que necesitas, el exceso de azúcar va a estar en su sangre. Y ese azúcar va a, how do you say stick to?
Se va a pegar.
Okay, sus, and I don't know how to say cell in Spanish.
Células.
Sí. Y esos cells van a fight the infection más difícil. Okay, so es importante realizar que no puedes comer más de azúcar en su dieta.
Okay, el azúcar.
I tried.
Fuera el azúcar, out the sugar, right? Porque lo que está diciendo es que el azúcar se pega en las células y entonces las células tienen menos habilidad para luchar contra el virus. O sea, en resumidas cuentas, that's as easy as that. Y que no podemos comer, we cannot eat as our parents ate because our lifestyle is different and our exercise is different. Nuestra vida es diferente, nuestro sistema de ejercicio es diferente. Now let's go to the question about, hey, amigos, les recuerdo, we remind who we are. We are here with our weekly updates that we're completing this series today with Elizabeth Weiss, President of Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos. Bravo. Dr. T, bravo. Estamos hablando de dieta hoy y de nutrición y nos ha dado unas actualizaciones del hospital. A ver, let's see. Dr. T now. You talked about the Latino, about the African American population, but what about the Latino population? Are they really still at higher risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, and related health challenges? I know you just mentioned that, but here in the United States, because people don't walk much, really, when they are driving.
It is absolutely true, and it is, almost entirely diet related. A lot of it is lifestyle. Unfortunately, I always use the example of the single mother trying to raise her children and working at the same time. It's very difficult for her to prepare all these healthy meals all the time, and she's struggling. And so the healthy lifestyle that she might normally have back home in another country is absent in America. So it is really diet related. And the most at risk, of course, are African American women, and then followed by that are Latina women. So, and this group, it's very dear to my heart because there's so many very popular, singers and celebrities in Latinas and also in the African American community. People know I love jazz music. They died of diabetes and high blood pressure and all these things. And as I began to realize it was diet related, I started to say to myself, well, we really need to reach out to this community and explain to them that there are things you can do. There are healthier ways to cook. For a simple example is I tell people in my group not to use regular salt, sodium chloride. There is actually something called no salt, because so many people tell me, oh, sin sal, Dr. Tangoren, no va a estar bien. They tell me this food is not good without salt. I say, well, try no salt, which is potassium chloride. It's much better for you. They go, oh, okay. Or use different spices, for example, very common Caribbean spices, as opposed to just putting salt on things. So, there's lots of little things you can do, but it is true that Latinas and African American women they're the highest risk group for diabetes, high blood pressure. My neighbor, I love her so much, so dearly. She just had a stroke. I can't say any names because all this stuff. And, and so I sent her a blood pressure cuff. I said, you need to be checking your blood pressure regularly. And I tell people in my group, 80% of people over 50 have high blood pressure. Please check your blood pressure. Simple things like that we can do, to improve our health.
Dice doctora, can I translate this one? Yes?
Yeah, please, because it's muy complicado para mí.
No, you're doing great, but I gotta just give a summary, a quick summary to our people, to our viewers. Dice que el doctor que la población que latina, sí es verdad que yo le he preguntado que si tienen mayor riesgo de tener diabetes, la tensión arterial alta y cómo impacta eso su salud. Y me dice pues que sí, que mayoritariamente son mujeres afroamericanas e hispanas las que tienen estos problemas y que muchas veces madres solteras tienen que proveer aquí para su familia y tienen que trabajar y no pueden tener la dieta más sana que tendrían en sus países de orígenes o sus padres o sus abuelos, ¿verdad? Y que es súper importante controlar el azúcar y mantener la presión arterial baja. Que él dice que en sus grupos de dieta, que le dice a la gente que se compre, monitorice la salud, ¿cómo se llama? The blood pressure, ¿la? La presión arterial. Elizabeth, do you have anything to say about this, to add to this?
No, I agree with everything Dr. T said.
Well, that's good. That's so. Dice que
I love you.
You passed
and if I didn't, I would say something.
Yeah, and we were testing you, Dr. T. Bien hecho. Le estamos haciendo al Dr. T una pequeña broma diciéndome que sí, que la presidenta Elizabeth Weiss está de acuerdo con todo. Let's go to the next question about weight again. When should weight gain turn into a red flag? And what can be the negative consequences of weight gain? We've talked about some of them, but can you expand in this, please?
You want me or Elizabeth too?
That's you. That's you,
Okay,
Dr.
all right.
T.
So basically, your weight will fluctuate. I always tell people between 5 to 10 pounds here and there, okay? If you're suddenly noticing that you're losing greater than 10 pounds in a month or gaining greater than 10 pounds in a month, that needs to be a red flag. One thing I tell people in the group all the time, and this has been shown in so many studies, you must weigh yourself regularly, okay? I always tell people, get a good look at yourself in the mirror, assess what you look like, identify who you are, identify what the problem is, because, just like they'll tell people in AA, you cannot treat a problem until you identify it as a problem first,
Yeah. How often would we weigh ourselves?
Once a week. I tell people no more than once a week, unless you have some kind of medical condition where you, for example, if you're taking a steroid like a prednisone, that can herald a lot of weight gain, but more than once a week, unless you're preparing for a show, a bodybuilding show, you really don't need to do it because it gets to be very depressing. People see their weight fluctuate so much, and our weight fluctuates based on our diet, the amount of sodium in our diet, the amount of water we drink, the amount of carbohydrates we eat. 1 gram of carbohydrates holds 4 grams of water. This is one of the key proponents behind the keto diet. People say don't eat the carbs. Well, you do lose the weight, but actually a lot of it is water weight. So I always tell people, if you're going to fluctuate between 5 and 10 pounds, your weight will, once you hit that 10-pound mark, that's when you have to say something's going on here. The other thing I tell people to do, which is really important, unfortunately, the hospital is difficult for us because we wear scrubs all the time, is keep wearing your same clothes. Once people are home now with COVID, they're just wearing their shorts and they're wearing their sweatpants. So the waistband is not a set size. It's expandable. So as the weight's gaining, the waist is expanding, but we're not aware of it. So weigh yourself. If you have a friend that has a scale, just get an honest weight on yourself. Try not to do it with clothes on or too many things on, and realize that if you've hit that 10-pound mark, that should really alert you. You've got to do something to intervene with losing weight.
And if not, what I'm suggesting? I'm suggesting wear your skinniest, jeans, right? And if you cannot wear them or you cannot button them, then that's a red flag. Or
that's a red flag.
Stay with them like for an hour or more.
Now, again, for women, it's a little different because their weight will tend to fluctuate, based on the time of the month. And I always tell them that's not a concern. Kind of keep track of it. Most women gain between 5 and 10 pounds when it gets to be that time of the month. And I just tell them, listen, lessen your carbs a little bit so that you won't retain the water as much, And, if it happens around the same time, make sure the weight gain is about the same. If it tends to be more than your average, then something's going on.
Okay. You want to try it in Spanish?
Sí.
In one sentence?
Okay. Es importante si gana más que 5 o 10 pounds.
Libras.
Sí. Sí, libras, right, exactly. Libras, es importante realizar que es una emergencia y necesito controlar qué comes y su actividad.
Y también pesarse regularmente como una vez por semana, no más que eso, right? Weight yourself once a week, no more than that, unless you have a problem, a menos de que tenga
Sí, no más que
un
eso.
problema. Y yo que le decía que se pongan sus jeans y que si no les caben, pues a lo mejor hay un problema, ¿no? Vale, muy bien. What are the best ways then of monitoring our weight, food, lifestyle to be healthy? Right? How do we do this balance, especially in these times where, you know what, maybe we're eating the same or we're eating a little bit different because of anxiety, of bathing clothes, of cooking more because we had more time over at home, but we're not doing the same exercise. And we think we are, but we're not. We think we're eating the same way, but we're not.
For me again? Yeah.
For both of you. Elizabeth, do you want to say something about that first?
I would say when people go to the store, be careful what you buy so that it's not a temptation for you at home.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I don't think that you should do anything differently than what you did before when you were staying at home. So I eat 3 meals a day. I don't usually snack in between. I'm obviously coming to work, but I'm still following my same diet. So I would encourage people to do that as well.
Dice la presidenta Elizabeth Weiss que nos está diciendo de que que cuando vayan al supermercado, pues que vigilen lo que compran, que intenten no comprar cosas que sean una tentación luego en casa y que sigan su dieta anterior, como estaban en casa, si tomaban tres comidas al día, pues que se las sigan tomando las 3 comidas y que ya, por ejemplo, lo hace, pero que no toma snacks entre medio. Snacks is the same in Spanish. Snacks.
Okay.
We love the word.
Interesante.
Interesante.
So,
Dr. Musa, yeah.
Yeah, I want to just add something as well. So one of the difficulties, I get a lot of emails every day. People are asking me, tons of questions about health and nutrition. One thing I have to say that's really important, I am in a profession where my hours during my day are completely unregulated. For example, last night I was up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And, I still haven't slept yet. I'm still doing things. But there are a lot of people who are working the night shift now. Some people are not working at all, and their schedules are really a mess. So I tell people one thing that's very important to do during this time, do not stay up late. Get to bed, okay? Because people are bored during the day, and there are a lot of people who are night people. They want to be on the computer. They want to watch television. But there's been many studies that show you should eat in a 10-hour window. If you eat the same amount of calories in a 10-hour window versus if you eat them all day, you actually will gain weight if you're eating those calories all day. If you eat them in the 10-hour daylight window, you're going to do better because you're burning those calories. At nighttime, especially after 7 or 8 o'clock at night, even if you're working a night shift, even if you're at work, your metabolism naturally slows because we're following Mother Earth. Mother Earth wants us to go to sleep. So that slowing of metabolism means that any calories you ingest after 8 o'clock at night will add more weight unless you actually burn them off. Yeah. So as a rule, I tell people, do what you can to get to sleep. Make sure you're doing something during the day. Be active, read. I tell people walk, especially it's summertime now. Get outside every single day. Because if you're not physically tired, it'll also make you difficult to go to sleep. People stay up late. What do they want to do? They eat ice cream. They eat snacks, And just like Elizabeth was saying, it's very important to just stick to a 3-meal plan. Try not to snack too much. Snacking is actually dangerous. They've also shown that tends to make you gain weight as opposed to just having 3 square meals a day.
A ver, el doctor Musa nos está diciendo la importancia de comer 3 comidas al día, ¿verdad? Y de que comer, aunque ustedes estén en casa o estén o trabajen de noche o se quieran ir a dormir tarde porque están aburridos, no tienen nada que hacer, pues vamos tomando snacks, vamos picoteando. Picoteando es also snacking, picotear por ahí. Y que eso no es posible porque nos ayuda eso a aumentar el peso, que la madre naturaleza nos dice que por la noche hay que dormir y que nuestro metabolismo baja de noche y que mantengamos las 3 comidas al día, que es súper importante. Y que nada de picotear y sobre todo en un radio de tiempo de 10 horas. That I didn't know. You're giving us a lot of tips. I have to write it all down, listen to this interview again and take notes.
You can always, one thing I will tell you, listen, again, and Elizabeth knows this, I'm so grateful to the hospital. I really, really am. I tell the group every time as a collective when we're together, please thank Lehigh Valley for supporting our program. It really is very helpful. So one of the things that I do on the Facebook page is I present actually the scientific papers that a lot of these things are on. Some people can read them, some people can't. I usually put a little summary if I can, so people understand I'm not just speaking out of my, I'm not making these things up. So a lot of the tips, a lot of these notions, they're all on our Facebook page. And I encourage people, and that you can see the research that was done. I encourage people to join so they can get all this information, for free.
This is your Facebook page?
Yes.
Dice que el doctor, you have to tell us then give us your Facebook page, please. We need it.
Yeah, sorry. It's Lehigh Valley Hospital Poconos Healthy Lifestyle Challenge.
Pues esa es la página web, la página del Facebook, donde el doctor Musa, él documenta todas estas ideas, todas estas recomendaciones que nos da, las documenta científicamente.